afternoon to the two coordinators of this 2-week course on use of modern tools in social science research being organized by the Center for Multidisciplinary Development Research, Dharwad, Karnataka. The other support staff of this research institute, young scholars, and I can say the budding research going to be producing some kind of work into the society. Ladies and gentlemen, to be very honest with you, I'm just a teacher. November 9th, 1989, I joined as an assistant professor in the same department where I was a student. So it's a journey of nearly 34 years as a faculty researcher, and then taking up some administrative posts now and then because of my seniority. Before that, in 1983, I joined as a student in the same department. So friends, let me tell you, right from 1983, June, July, till now, I have been a part and parcel of my university. Maybe that's a big record where no one, I don't say no one, a very few would have continued their journey right from their post-graduation days till today, except for my visits abroad or on for academic assignments. Apart from that, I never left the university. The reason being, we don't have any transfers. And moreover, my wife works in a women's university as a professor. She is a Fulbright scholar. She's an Indo-American Fulbright scholar. I am an American Fulbright scholar. So in one family, we have two scholars. So when Dr. Brahmanandam Garu has invited me, I said, I am not an expert in methodology. We read methodology paper as a part and parcel of the postgraduate course. Then he said, you can give something valuable to the upcoming research scholars. Then I felt, okay, let me talk about the theoretical and the practical side of how I did my work and how it will be beneficial for you, and then share finally one important thing. As an alumni of Fulbright, I want to give the tips as how to apply for these Fulbright fellowships. Out of this 30 plus young minds, maybe one or two can get through the selection process, and you will be studying in US at the cost of that government's money. That I'll be sharing it at the last half an hour or so. And it's going to be, friends, this is going to be a general one. The reason being, it can be useful not only for you, those who are sitting, but for your friends, for your brothers, for your sisters, and anyone. Thereby, I felt that let me share some of my views on. So when we say all these 2 or 3 days, the experts in this particular field must have told you about social science research and the tools and techniques to be used. Just before I start, when Dr. Brahmananda, my colleague, was saying that Shivaji University, Gwalior, I still remember my 1983-84 tennis tournament in Baroda, where we bet the Shivaji University in round 2. I'm a tennis player, played more than 128 tournaments so far, represented my university 3 times. So I balance both academics and tennis, guys. Till now. This is my 50th year as a tennis player. 43 years as a student, scholar, faculty member. 50 years. 1973, October, my parents made me to join me and my other 2 brothers as tennis players. We are continuing the journey, friends. And I can tell you very honestly, apart from academics, sports has taught me a lot. Sports has taught me a lot. So when Dr. Brahmanandam yesterday was telling, because what you may think all these things, why? This is very much necessary, friends, which I want to share, which I learned when I was sitting like you on that side. but we never had this kind of programs. We learned by watching others. To be very honestly with you, these kind of programs came up only the last 10 or 15 years. Before that, no program, nothing. We have to learn from on our own or learn from our seniors and get on with that. And in that way, sports has taught me. So when I was yesterday, right from 3:44, I'm very precise about the timings. The reason being, I am a player. No, it's only 5 minutes time with JQ. If you are late by 5 minutes, your match is scratched. Nothing doing. So the opponent will say, he's late by 5 minutes. I may be best player, but if I don't maintain the time. So yesterday at 3:44 till 4:05, I was waiting. And in between, there are some technical glitches and all those things, which I know very well. And Dr. Brahmananda was telling, sir, don't worry, please, sorry. So see, don't say sorry and all those things. This is not what you made. It has come, it has, we have to understand that. I can understand, no problem. If you can arrange tomorrow, well and good. Otherwise, well. In fact, I want to be in person, offline for you, but due to my pressing engagements, both academic and other things, I have to take this online class. The reason being, friends, for the last 3 years, I'm the only single man in the department. We have around 36 in the third sem and 30 in the first sem. It's a single man department. It's becoming very difficult to manage. Even though today is being a holiday, I have to go for a PhD Viva. Just I'm remembering you only. Actually, I should have said no. Today being a local holiday, I don't want to conduct, but the scholar is coming from Delhi. University without looking, I don't know whether they looked into the calendar or not. They said Saturday at 11 o'clock, the Viva will be held. The external examiner from SK University. Why I'm telling this is the practical side. And being me, the Dean Faculty of Arts and Dean Faculty of Law, I have to give the green signal tick mark. The research supervisor replied. He just requested me 2 days back, sir, if you don't mind, will you give permission to host, they hold the Viva was at 11 o'clock. I said the day after tomorrow is today. Today, Saturday happens to holiday. That's the reason why the university has asked me. They made a mess of it. I said, don't worry, we are going ahead. So by 11:30, 12, we started. It went up to 1:30. The scholar made an excellent presentation. He is not from my department. He's from the Department of Population Studies and Social Work. His name is Vivek Mishra. He hails from Lucknow, but works in Delhi. Not to trouble him, I felt it is my minimum responsibility as a teacher, because he has booked everything depending on the letter which he got from my university. So these are all the small things which looks very easy to tell, but very, very difficult to follow, friends. Very difficult to follow. That's why when your coordinator was telling, sir, sorry, don't feel it. I said, no need to feel sorry, because we know how to, because we tend to wait for our opponents to come sometimes. And sometimes there will be a traffic jam when you are going for a match. It all happens. So when Shivaji University, I was just remembering my 83, 84 Baroda visit. And then the other universities where I applied. So it's a fond memories of 50 years as a player and 43 years as a student and a scholar. And let me share some of my experiences as a researcher. Friends, when you say research, it will have two sides. One is the theoretical side and the other one is practical side. Theoretical side is very, very easy. People say that you are interested, you have the passion for it, you go for your research once your postgraduate is done with, you talk to a guide, and then the topic will be selected. And once the topic is finalized, then you prepare the research plan, the research design, the hypothesis, the objectives, everything. And then after 6 months or so, you go for field work, collect the data. If it is field trip, collect the data, and then make an analysis using the appropriate tools and techniques, put them in the tabular form or in the diagram form or whatever in form you have to, so that it will be easily understood by the common man. And finally, make a report. And while preparing the report, you have to follow certain guidelines. where the certificate should be, where the declaration should be, where the acknowledgement should be, the contents page. Sometimes I see that it's being the mismatched, misplaced. I think yes, I have seen, because I have valued hundreds of PhD thesis, friends, hundreds. Even in best of the best universities like Pondicherry University, Madras, Chennai, I find that the scholars not putting this in a proper way. The methodology is not being followed, and I can make a comment about that. Then once the report is writing is done with, you submit the first rough to your supervisor, correct, and then go for English correction and all those things, and finally submit to the university. Then you have the viva voce, and once that is done with, you are awarded it. This is the theoretical side. Coming to the practical side, it's not going to be that easy, friends. It's not going to be that easy. The reason being, number one, once you complete your post-graduation, in between, you have two options, whether to join for research, go for a job. The third option is get married. Don't do that. Better not to get married, because that's going to be, and you cannot come out of that. So that can wait. I'll tell my own examples also, a personal example. So research or job. So once you do your research, continue with it and say that you finish your work and then look for a job. But sometimes in between we may get a job. If it is an academic position, you have every option to convert it into part-time. If it is a non-academic job, then you have to seek the permission from your head or your boss or whoever it may be. And there may be 2 years grace period. After that service, only then it's, and you have to get all the formalities to be completed. It's a bit tedious process. So when I completed my post-graduation, I had the option of MPhil also. Why I chose MPhil before joining PhD was, MPhil is time bound. It's for 16 months to 18 months. And being a day scholar, I felt, okay, let me go for this MPhil. Then I can join PhD. Friends, why I'm telling you, in SV University at the time, I'm talking about 1980s and 1990s. There were nearly 50 to 60% of the scholars who took more than 5 years to 10 years to complete their PhD. 5 to 10 years. They used to get some kind of scholarship and they used to spend their time. And very few, only 20 to 30, because I've seen with my own eyes. I talk with proof, right? I don't just talk just like that. So looking at them when I was doing my post-graduation, I used to feel, if at all I join, let me not join PhD. Let me join the in-between course, the MPhil program. So I joined and I had the opportunity to continue with the same title, more or less, with minor changes. So my guide was from JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. He became a faculty in my department. And that area of specialization was international relations and foreign policy. That's the reason why I told you I'm not a research methodology expert. I teach India's foreign policy and international relations for my students right from 1989. And it became easy for me and I was the first UGC JRF holder in my department, 87. I used to get 1,800 rupees at that time and 5,000 rupees contingency. I got a seat in JNU, but due to family situation, I could not go. I lost my mother when I was doing my post-graduation. So being the eldest son, all the responsibilities to take care of the family was on me. So thereby on one side, the research was going on, the MPhil was going on. The other side, taking care of the family was going. And in 1988, I completed my MPhil. Then took 6 months gap, continued for my PhD. 89, I joined. March. By November, I got into the faculty position. Because I was in the same department, it became easy for me to convert my full-time PhD to part-time. So it was easy for me, but for many others, it's not going to be that easy. So 89, I continued. The one thing is, friends, it was on East Europe, India and East Europe, especially on Soviet Union. By the time I started my MPhil, Soviet Union was there. By the time I started my PhD, Soviet Union was there. But by the time I want to complete it, Soviet Union disintegrated. So the dilemma was whether to include the post-Soviet disintegration period or not, which I never mentioned in my title of the thesis. Out of a bit of common sense, I felt, okay, let me add 20 to 30 pages of the post-Soviet Union disintegration, India-Russia relations. So these kind of uncertainties will always be there in your work, friends. Better be prepared for the emergency-like situations. Then I got a job. I said I was the youngest. At the age of 24, I became a faculty. And definitely there will be pressure to get married. But I'm a bit smart enough. I said marriage can wait, but not by research. So once I finish up to 90% of my work, then I got married. So within 1 year of complete getting married, I could submit my thesis to the university in 1993. By 94, I got one. We have a foreign examiner also, evaluation. So 2 Indians, 1 foreign examiner. So by 94, I got my PhD. See, from 86, 87 till 94, I could get 2 degrees. One the MPhil, the other one PhD. With my MPhil degree and UGC JRF, I could get the job. I never had PhD by the time I joined I attended the interview in my university. 14 candidates have applied, 11 have come, and 2 or 3 people were with PhD, and they were my seniors. Yet, one small thinking, that's what you say, one idea can change your life. Instead of going for PhD directly after 85, 86, I went for MPhil. That's one extra qualification which fetched me the job. And I did extremely well in the interview also. So that's how my journey of a student and MPhil scholar, and later UGC JRF scholar, then finally the PhD scholar went on. Because right from the time I was in my post-graduation, I was a bit careful. I was studying the people in and around me, especially in social sciences. In sciences, everything will be done within that particular period of time. 3 years to 4 years, everything will be done. But in social sciences, it's not going to be like that. There may be so many external factors which influence your work, which you have to, which you should not. Always depends on the scholar. Sometimes the supervisor also. So far, I have guided 16 PhDs, 9 MPhils, 4 postdocs in this 34 years of my service. Some are very good, some are average, some are not up to the mark. The reason being, coming from a semi-urban university like ours, I can't expect the scholars to be so good like they compared to the cities and urban areas. So thereby, in order to help, we have to take some scholars for research. Sometimes they may not be knowing what actually they are doing. The responsibility falls on the research supervisor to take care of each and everything in minute and help the scholar. Last week, I was attending one Viva was in the Department of Economics. Economic students, let me tell you, the scholar was a lady. She did on self-help groups. I'm very, very sorry to say that. She submitted her thesis in 2020-21. Last week, the Viva was held. And you know, the data which she collected, it was up to 2030. This was the one which I pointed out. How can you collect the data up to 2030? At least if 2020 had you collected the data on the self-help groups and made an analysis, that would have been made a point or a common sense. But I don't know how the guide allowed her, how she allowed herself. And this was the comments made by the 3 experts who are writing the report. So please see that it's a bit of common. Sometimes your guide may oversight, may not look at it. But you being the one who is carrying out the work, better see that you put the data up to the latest. If you are submitting in 2023, at least 21, 22, that's enough, 21. But don't make it 2012 or 2013 or 15 and submit to the university. This is where I have seen in social sciences as a dean faculty attending more than 70 to 80. Roughly I have attended for the last 3-4 years, roughly 100 Vivas. I find the data not up to the latest. Very rarely you find scholar. Today's scholar did extremely well. I'm telling you. So there are in some departments, Telugu, Urdu, English. They're so good. I had an opportunity to visit the 500th Viva OC in the Department of Telugu. 500th Viva OC. The presentation went for 1 hour 24 minutes, friends. 1 hour 24 minutes. Even though it was in Telugu, your own mother tongue, but it's very difficult to speak for 1 hour 24 minutes as a scholar. So I still remember that. So this is where one can learn by listening to others, looking at others. And you, most of you being very young and energetic, I wish that this should be the case with you also, friends. Because research never stops once you get your award or degree. It's a continuous process. The reason being, if you think that we can put a stop to this, no. Somewhere we are making a wrong judgment. So even after you complete your research, and if you get an opportunity, definitely improve further and see that something new is added to your data. So like this, the theoretical part and the practical aspects are 2 different things, and one must be in a position to draw the line and carry out and prioritize your things. Let me tell you, friends, those who are not married, prioritize your things.
All of them are not married.
This has to be, because don't think that research can wait. Marriage can wait. If you give that time, research will never wait. Had I wanted to, I would have got married in 1989 itself, but I waited up to 92 because I wanted to see that my research comes to a particular stage where I can go ahead with it. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made to get a good output, and see that we don't get disturbed later looking at our work. This is what I want to tell you about the practical side of the research process, which I have faced as a scholar of the Department of Political Science and Public Administration of Sri Venkateshwara University. I had the best guide, like I'm telling you, very open defense. The guide was so cooperative. Even as far as the topic is concerned, looking at my post-graduation marks and my involvement in the academic activities as well as the sports in the department where I was his student, direct student, he used to say, Murli, don't worry. You go and choose the topic in your area of specialization, in which area of specialization you are interested to. Topics. And I will select one. This kind of freedom he has given in 1985-86, friends. Because my supervisor had that kind of confidence in me. And I never disappointed him, either in academics or in sports. Then I became his colleague within 3 years. He was the HOD at the time when I became the faculty in the same department. So this was the journey of, I can say, some kind of satisfaction as a student and as a researcher. Still, I feel that there is a lot to be learned whenever I go and visit, whenever I go and sit in the Vivavos, or whenever I look at some of the students from other departments presenting themselves. I used to think I should have presented like this in MPhil and PhD. Because I always feel that there is many things to be learned from everyone. Had it been offline, I would have been very happy, so that I could have learned from some of you, one or two people who were with your interaction and all those things. Okay, friends. So this is, and let me go to the most important thing, the Fulbright fellowships. Please, after that, you can ask any questions, or if you want to have the interaction now itself for this, you can, and then we'll go to the next one.
We'll have I have a few things to.
Yes, Chapandi.
Seek clarification.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
In fact, unlike you, the present generation, perhaps in this group, sir, are you?
Yes, tell me. Tell me, Andy.
Unlike you, in this group, I'm sure 100% are not having MPhil. Like me, I have done MPhil also in JNU. Okay. You have, okay. Okay, except out of 33, there is one scholar. Out of 33 participants, one scholar is having MPhil. Yes, sir. Now, I wanted to seek your advice. What is the benefit of MPhil?
Yes.
When these scholars are lacking, and the present new education policy also resolve the MPhil. As an MPhil scholar, despite the methodology which were taught to us in MA and also in the coursework, it is an added advantage to the PhD scholars. They can learn ABCD of it in detail in the MPhil. That will sustain them a more enlightened, more eligible, more acquired in different methods, approaches for the PhD. Would it be possible to share your experience? Is the first point. Second point, since I do agree that you have pinpointed your girl scholar from the social work on SHGs. I am a scholar in School of International Studies, JNU. Due to certain unavoidable conditions, I have migrated from School of International Relations to Indian political system, where I have done my PhD in origin and nature of communal violence in urban India, a study of Bombay, Bhiwandi, and Meerut. They are very prone to the communal violence. I think most of them must be knowing. If they are not known, communal violence is nothing but a fight between Muslims and Hindus using the socio-religious and political cause highlighted by the political party. That is all. So, looking at this as your reference, as you have drawn an inference from the SHGs. See, we have not have a census from 2011. In a awkward situation like that, what could be your answer if the data is not available? Recently, I published an article in a SAGE journal called Contemporary Dalit Voice. There I have given a data on how the 73rd, 74th Amendment has facilitated the Dalit women, ST women. Today, there are 13 lakh women representatives in India. This data is from second term elections. Every 5 years, 73rd, 74th Amendment was implemented in 93 April. The second election means immediately not all the states have not taken place. 3-tier elections. Say for example in 95 first election, then 2000 second election. So that is the data I projected because I have searched it. So what your opinion if suppose the data is not there? How, what kind of suggestion do you suggest? Because majority of them are from economics. I also look at that welfare also, the limited resources, unlike you and me, who are having a fellowship. So how would you, what would be your solution, suggestion, panacea for them?
Okay.
This is second point. I would also interested to take your political science because there are 8 students from political science. I would earnestly submit to you to give your expertise to them. Then I will, after this, I will ask my fellow scholars or my trainees to give their, then I would be very happy to take your how to catch a Fulbright for my trainees also. Please, sir, this is what.
Okay, thank you, dear colleague. These are the general questions which every scholar might be encountering while preparing his or her thesis. So as far as the MPhil is concerned, with this NEP 2020, most of the universities have done away with the MPhil program. That's why I said about my case. At that time, we had MPhil and PhD. Most of the scholars in social sciences, they directly joined PhD rather than doing MPhil and PhD. The reason why I chose MPhil was very simple. It's a time-bound program, time-bound course. I can finish off my course within that particular 16 to 18 months, number one. At the time, we never had any research methodology course or for our post-graduation. We have to study that in MPhil. Then I felt that will be useful for, if at all I want to continue for my PhD. So thereby, those students who have the opportunity to pursue MPhil, it's better they weigh that option and take MPhil, then continue with the same topic for PhD also. So till 1990s and early 2000, this was the case with my university. But after 2000, slowly they have done away with the MPhil program, and now we have only masters and PhD program. So at the time I was a bit lucky, in the sense I used my bit of mind, even though I'm a day scholar, I used to have this, okay, I should complete it. If I join PhD, it may be getting prolonged. Me doing mistakes or due to other factors. Thereby, I went for my MPhil. Then I could complete it. And that was a blessing in disguise for me. When I attended the interview, they asked, you have only MPhil, you don't have PhD. Then I told to the interview board, the honorable members, yes, sir, I did my MPhil and I got my fellowship also. And later I wanted to do my PhD. I'm just 6 months into the PhD. And they said, okay, you have UGC JRF. Yes. Okay. And they started the interview and everything was done with. So thereby, if you have an opportunity, better do it. Or if you are so confident that you can go for PhD directly and finish up within 3 years or 4 years, is the choice of the scholar first, and then talk to the supervisor. Both of them come to a particular understanding, and then go ahead with it. The second one, pertaining to the data. So when she has, in as far as our SHs are concerned, we have the data almost all. Now, even though it was started by Chandrababu Naidu, these programs are still being continued, even now by the present government, even though there's opposition party in power. And the data is there, that has been pointed out by the 3 experts, because I'm not the one who has evaluated her thesis. So they said you could have added up to 2020. Then the research supervisor realized the mistake. Then he said, oh yeah, we made the mistake of not going for the latest data. The data is available up to 2020, and she did on Kurnool district, I think so. The study area was Kurnool district or Anantapur. I don't remember properly. So thereby, when we are making a field study, be sure that the data which we collect is at least up to 2 years old by the time we submit our thesis. That gives some extra advantage for the scholar to argue at the time of viva voce that this much she could or he could. If it is very 10 years old data, then it's very difficult to make an analysis and point out how, whether the working of SHCs or a particular policy or program is. This is where the problem will be. And once again, I am telling you, there is no hard and fast rule, but it all depends on how we use judiciously our mind in the collection of data. That's the reason why I told you my example. I did not have submitted up to 20 to 30 pages of the post-disintegration of the Soviet Union. It's a purely theoretical part. I never went into this field because no need for me to go for field data. It's a purely theoretical. Still, once the Soviet Union got disintegrated, it was around 3 years. 91, I was submitting in 93. Somewhere it stuck in my mind. Let me add 20 to 30 pages. Nothing wrong in it. How Indo-Russian relations are there in the post-Soviet disintegration. My guide also accepted. Then I added it. One of the examiner has pointed out, even though your topic is related to Indo-Soviet relations, yet you have given the latest information of 20 to 30 pages. Because these are all the things which the scholar can himself or herself observe and tell to the guide. Or the guide can suggest to the scholar to add as much as possible. As our colleague was asking, if the literature, if the information is there, if the data is there, better we add it. If the data is not there, we cannot help. We can argue on that. The data is not there. So when the expert, I think she came from Kakatiya University, Warangal, Professor Vijaya, who is retired. She was telling all the three examiners have pointed out this, that the data is not sufficient, is not updated. The scholar was just nodding her head. So this is one which every scholar has to keep in mind. More so when we are taking up certain policies or programs. We have to be very sure that the data is there up to which stage. Then you can say in the introductory part itself that this data, this limitation, the limitation of the study, that this data is there up to this 2020 or 2018. Thereby I'm making an analysis up to that particular period, so that the examiner who corrects will have an idea of that the scholar has this kind of limitation. This is what I have, after so much of evaluating the thesis for so many universities, I have seen them. Then the third one, the colleague was asking. I just forgot, to skip my mind. What's it, Andy? Ramananda Garu. What's the third one?
No. There are some scholars from political science.
Yes.
They wanted to seek some clarifications.
Sure, Randy. Sure.
Yeah. So that is
yeah, we first better.
Yeah, that is also one reason where I invited you, sir.
Yeah, let them know. No.
Yeah.
Let them ask first. It's better there.
Please, political science people can have clarifications.
As being a student of political science.
Use mic.
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Also, you can have some.
Hello.
You tell your name and you from.
Yes.
I am from Rani Chennamma University, Belgaum.
Right.
Rani Chennamma University.
Okay.
Rani Chennamma, Belgaum University. Belgaum, sir.
Belgaum, yes.
My guide is also from JNU, Professor O.S. Padantwal.
Okay.
I have a topic related to ideological contradictions in Indian politics since 1951.
1951, okay.
I have a question about how to formulate hypothesis in social science and how to check, how to verify that hypothesis. At
Ideological
contradictions. Ideological contradictions
in Indian politics.
In Indian politics.
What's your name?
Suresh Takatrao.
Suresh. Yeah, can you text me afterwards so that I can see that and I can get back to you within 1 or 2 days by Monday?
Sure, sir.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
No, please. At the end of my PPT, you'll have my email ID. You can pass your comments and everything.
Okay,
and
sir.
as far as anything is concerned, I'm telling you, only up to social sciences. I can give, I can give my inputs, but you be doubly sure that you talk to your guide.
Yes, sir.
Because he is the ultimate or she is the ultimate.
Exactly.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, next. Anyone?
Dr. Eknath, working as assistant librarian, University of Horticultural Sciences, Karnataka.
University of
Horticultural Sciences.
Okay.
Horticultural Sciences.
Horticultural Sciences. That's good.
Bagalkot in Karnataka.
So, to get this full scholarship and how to apply all of this, I want to know, sir.
No, he will tell you, because let these political science people can have it. Some of you can have a clarification. Then he will ask him what is the Fulbright, how we should get,
yes,
how we hijack it. Since he is an expertise, I'm sure he is also He is also there in the selection committee. I'm sure he is also there in the selection committee. Now, any political science people, anybody, please, forum is open for it. Not
No
only
need-
political science.
No need for political science, even social sciences, I
yeah.
can guide,
Please.
as far as the Fulbright. Now this is,
In your lecture, you had stated that somebody has collected data for 2023. Sir,
up to 2013, ma, 2013.
2030.
Old data.
2013 only.
Sir, was it a trend projected data or the sir, some hypothetical data?
Ma, just one thing. So when you are submitting your thesis after 4 or 5 years, and if the data is bit old, how can you come to a proper analysis or prove your thesis or prove your objectives?
Sir, as per I know, we can project the trends for the forthcoming number of years on the basis of past.
Okay, ma, because the last one was 2013, 2023. Let me tell you openly,
Far, sir.
because my
20,
scholar, yes, just let me tell you.
She has understood. Yeah, please go
My
ahead.
scholar, if he is submitting his thesis on India-Pakistan relations 2013 or 2014, making a projection in 2023, it doesn't look good. At least up to Imran Khan's period, if we take up that study and then make a prediction within this 1 or 2 years, that makes bit readable, and you can argue with your when you are doing your viva hours. Making in Nawaz Sharif period and saying that this is going to be the trend in 2023 or 2024, it's a bit difficult too. At least in our subject, because there's a secondary data. When you have a primary
science, I think it is not so very applicable, but in economics or in business studies, it is very applicable to project the trend for forthcoming number of years, not so far away. Like for 2 to 3 years of trend, you can comment upon. So in our studies, we comment. I do not know much about the political science studies.
Okay, man. That's what I'm telling you. It all depends upon the experts who are evaluating your thesis, and you must be in a position to defend why this much and why not that much.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
If that can be done, well and good. Because as I told you in research, there is no hard and fast rule that you should be done, you should not be done. But to be on safer side,
yeah,
because for us it goes to foreign evaluation also. There people expect the data to be updated to the maximum, or point it out in your introductory chapter also, introductory part, saying that this up to this much we have collected and made an analysis of it. What kind of comments you get it from the 3 experts, it all depends upon their mood and so not to give any chances. Thereby, I, as a scholar and as a teacher, I feel that if the data is available, better put it in. Otherwise, no need. As you are saying, no need, but give that justification in the beginning itself or at the end. So that
This is
not
new session, sir.
Yeah,
As you said it is, despite it is a old data, one need to justify it.
Yes, that's what
conclusion chapter, you can add so and so reason, so and so this. My analysis is strictly restricted to this.
That's correct.
Based on that, yes. I have drawn my conclusions and findings.
Yes.
That takes care of everything of your sir, whatever.
That's what I'm telling you.
Highly appreciable, highly valuable session, sir. Thank you.
Justification of your work is very, very important, Ma. Justification. Because you are the one who is doing the work and you have to justify, not your research supervisor.
Yes.
And whatever you justify, that will be there in your work and it will be evaluated accordingly. Okay, Ma, let's go to this.
Any questions?
Yes.
Any questions, so that sir will go to explain about Fulbright? Any? No? Please, sir, go ahead, sir, for your Fulbright thing.
Thank you very much. So This is how the higher education in the US and research opportunities for staff, scholars, and students to pursue higher education. There is one. Then how to choose the right university for you. Recently, as a Fulbright alumni, I had an opportunity to talk to some of the students in the St. Anne's Women's College, Hyderabad, 2 months back. Because as an alumni, we have to give 1 or 2 talks every year on different platforms and send the report to. It's not compulsory. It all depends upon how active you are. I send the report to the Hyderabad consulate, and they make in the newsletter. So you all know the map of United States. This is the one from the east coast to the west, from the north to south. And these are the usage of words, friends. I made visit to US 5 times. My wife made 2 visits. We prepared all these things in 2015, 16, and then we went on updating now and then whenever we have to do. So when you are in on the left side, you have Indian usage. On the right side, you have the American usage. And sometimes it may be a bit difficult when we say that when you use our Indian words, they may not be in a position to understand. Especially the coastal area, they call it as Bay Area. And curd, we have to call it as yogurt there. Graduation is called as undergrad there. Post-graduation here is called as graduation there. So friends, this is the overview of the education system in the United States up to 8th grade, from 8th to 12th, then undergraduate studies of 4 years, which our NEP 2020 wants to introduce. Then graduate studies varies. The postgraduate research also varies. So these are the number of colleges in US. They must have increased now. This we have prepared last year. So for the undergraduate program, these are all the requirements which a student has to fulfill. These are all the graduate schools. All the doctorates. Yes, these are all the, from here, it's very important. The most demanding courses of the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Friends, when my first visit in 2007, I was talking to some of the people in the Bay Area, that's California, which is a mixture of both, in that particular group, we had the Indians as well as the Americans. And I was asking, what are the most demanding courses? They were telling these 4. And don't worry, they'll be there at least for another 20 to 30 years. Yes, how you have to choose the right university for you, for your postgraduate study or later to pursue your research. More or less, it's almost all the same. For your postgraduate study, you have to go out to the ranking, the tuition fees, the cost of living, weather, location, everything. When you choose the East Coast, it's going to be too cold. That's why most of the Indians is the best place is, the best area is the West, especially the California side. And this is the one good fellowship where all of you can try. All of you. Nothing wrong in it. The advertisement will come in the month of July. By July ending, it will be closing. And by that time, depending upon your interests, you apply for this prize. And he is an American statesman who wanted to pay back to the American society. He started the fellowship under his name, the Fulbright Fellowship. And it will be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 1 year plus. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 1 year plus. Maximum 3 years, friends. I was selected for, that's an American. So in this, we have two. One is the American Fulbright. The other one is Indo-American Fulbright. In the American Fulbright, you have for 6 weeks, 9 weeks like that, not years. But whereas in Indo-American Fulbright, you have months and years. Why I'm telling you is, this is one of the best fellowships where you can apply, and if you are selected, you have all the facilities which you can have from the American system till the end. But the selection process is a bit difficult for. It takes place at 3 levels. First, the zonal level. Next comes the national level. And finally, your application along with other applications will be sent to Washington, D.C. There the final selection will be done. And let me add something here. Suppose at the zonal level, 400 or 500 or 600 or 1000 applications are done with South Zone level, East Zone, West, North, Central Zone. Then at the national level, that the filtering will be done. Remember, they will never tell you how many fellowships are there. They just give an advertisement, that's all. Depending upon your area of chosen interest, you apply it if it is there. There may be 1, there may be 4, there may be 5 or 10 or something, anything. Number will not be given at all. When I applied the same thing, when my wife applied also the same thing. Okay, so that's the done. Then at the national level, once again, public admin, political science, public administration, history, biochemistry, international relations, engineering, all will be asked to come. They selected few after filtering. There also, they will never tell you how many fellowships are there. They will interview you for half an hour or 1 hour. And once that is done with, they will say that we will send the list to Washington. And once if you are selected, within 1 or 2 months, you get an email. They'll pay you up and down for the daily trip. No problem at all. Second AC. And once the final list is announced, and if we are lucky, we will be selected. If you are not lucky, we can try some other time. And once you are lucky, the next thing you have to do is, this is another fellowship, which you get around $3,300 per month. It was around 80 into 3,000. Now, 83 rupees is the current dollar price. When my wife went, it was around 60. 1,80,000, she used to get around 2 lakhs. So these are the prerequisites when you are making your proposal. Especially in the month of, better you prepare from April itself of that corresponding year. Prepare from April, have an idea, and you can check the previous advertisement and then do this. From April to June, you try to contact the concerned department faculty who is very much similar to your specialization. Then if you are a teacher, if you are a faculty member doing a regular job, this is the problem. If you are not a faculty, if you are just a scholar, you can apply leave and then go. But for us, 3 to 6 months, 6 months to 1 year. And moreover, if you are married, you have a problem whether to leave the kids and the family and go. Or if you're not married, don't say with whom you can go. Because if you're married, spouse allowance will also be given. So you and your spouse can go. If you're not married, you only one has to go. So when I went, sorry. Sorry. So when I went for the first time in 2007, I never took my wife. The reason was she was already Dept Young Scientist Award. So she was in US. So thereby there was no need for me to go. I went, did my work right from June, July 2007 till August. And September, I returned back to India. And she continued with that Dept Young Scientist Award for another 9 to 10 months and came back. After that, she applied. So for the same lab, she went twice. Bruce Hemmock, University California, Davis, Department of Entomology. Whereas my program was in University of Massachusetts, Boston. We traveled almost all 9 states, friends. All the expenses right from the time I left Tirupati and came back to Tirupati were borne by the American government. American government. And let me be very honest with you. It's not only academics, it also sports and also cultural programs. They encourage these things. When we went there, they said, we don't want only academics. We want you to tell about your culture, your society, so that the other participants can know what India is, what Nepal is, what Venezuela. We had from 19 countries. When I was there, I was the only one from India, South India to be selected. That's what I came to know at the end of my program when we went to Washington to meet the US officials who selected us. One from Romania, one from Nigeria. So from 19 countries, 18 countries, I was over 9. We had the participants, one from each. So I have chosen this and I have to talk to my university and all those things. They were kind enough to permit me to go for this. And then this one, project proposal, I had to make a project proposal, and to be on safe side, I had one more alumni from Kerala University. I have sent it to him. His name was Gopa Kumar. He was a professor in political science, now retired from Kerala University. He was kind enough to go through my proposal before I submitted to the US Consulate, Chennai. He said, 80% is good, Murli. 20% you have to make some changes. The rest is okay. So thereby, I have to give credit, and I must be always thankful to Professor Gopa Kumar, who went through my project proposal meticulously before I submitted. Next, you have to search for the prospective host. Who will be your host for that 6 months or 1 year or 9 months or like that? And how compatible both of you are. These two things are to be taken care. And then request letter from your side to your host saying that this is what you expect from them. introduce yourself, your research, your work competency, your aspirations, and finally, last one, blending all these requests for acceptance to work and this convergence of scientific work. This is where, at the time of interview, the board will be asking, how come this visit to United States is going to benefit your university, and how come your stay in US going to help the American university? These two things they will be definitely asking, and the candidate or the scholar must be in a position to answer to the satisfaction of the members. Okay, let me tell you about, so my journey is, within brief, I'll tell about, then I will come to my wife. And she's my wife there. So once I applied and everything, at that time, we never had any interview. I was very lucky in 2007. She applied in 2013. She has to say, go for the interview, and that's a long-term fellowship. So at the zonal level, it was cleared. We went to the national level. From there, it went to Washington. And in March, I got a phone call from Chennai office. At that time, we never had Hyderabad. Chennai was a very vibrant consulate. So they called me and they said, got selected and you'll be receiving this. It was a goosebumps for me. I never expected that I'll be. Okay, then I went. The course started American politics and history. We had a best of everything, friends. Why I'm telling you is that because I'm a player, I organized some tournaments also for our 19 people, both for men and women separately, ping pong and football. So the director was telling, this is one of the most active team which we had, because they must have seen n number of teams like us every year, minimum 4, 5, 6 also. When we went there to Massachusetts, one team from Indonesia, exclusively from Indonesia, they came nearly 18 to 20. And we are the mixer, the cosmopolitan. So there also, we could enjoy ourselves, both academically as well as sports-wise and culturally also. Seen the best places, the best universities, listen to the best talks of the faculty. And finally, the journey ended in Washington. We went to the people who selected us. There, when we were introducing ourselves, when my turn came, I said, I'm from so-and-so. Yeah, that American was telling, yeah, you are very lucky. Yeah, I told, yes. There are so many applicants from South India. We had to select only one. And we are the one. So some kind of nasib also is very, very important. I may be the best, but if I don't have the bit of luck, maybe sometimes I may not be selected. So that part is done, went around and everything, and we came back to India and normal thing. So after she came back as a DBT young scientist, my wife, I told her, why don't you apply for it? Then for the same, see, let me tell you, the person is the provost. At the end of the Fulbright program, they asked all the Fulbrighters in that particular Bay Area to come and meet in California, UC Davis campus. Then they have to introduce themselves and tell about share their experiences to the others. So the one in the white shirt, he is the Bruce Hemmer, 70 plus, one-time bypass surgery, fundraiser for 3 universities. And my wife is the only one, I'm not boasting, I'm telling you honestly, my wife is the only one to go for the same lab twice, 2007, 8, 2013 and 14. Because in 2007 and 8, he liked her work so much, he said, whenever you want to come to, our lab doors are always open for you. And for 1 year, sure, he tried to become a Fulbright scholar, but he did not. And he was commenting, when she got selected. Her name is Mary Mamata. So Mary, I too wanted to become Fulbrighter, but I'm very happy that one Fulbrighter from India is coming into my lab. He has 3 Nobel Peace Prize nominees in his lab. Such is the lab where she worked. She learned a lot, friends. She learned a lot. And I've seen, because I was a house husband for 1 year. I was taking care of the house because, and you will be surprised, all of you, all the 30 will be surprised. We shifted the whole family, friends. Daughter studied her 11th grade, son studied his 8th grade. It's very challenging. Why I'm telling you is that unless you take the challenges, you cannot be one step ahead of others. The reason being, you get only chance once. We were in dilemma whether to keep the kids here and let her go alone. But I said, my brother-in-law was there in California. He too helped us. So for 1 year, the local Americans were asking me. They call me Lee because they cannot pronounce my name Murali. I just made it very short, Professor Lee, for them. When my first visit in 1997 to Malaysia. So they used to say, Lee, how did you shift the whole family? It's normally difficult. Yes, I tell yes, it's normally difficult, but I love to take up challenges. So we have to plan pakka that they don't get disturbed here. And by the time we return back to India, the academic schedule will be continued. Easy to say, friends, but very, very difficult to implement it. Especially the daughter and son being in the teens, very crucial time for them. And I have to take care of them because she used to go to the lab by 9:30, used to come back at 6:30. I'm telling you, I became house husband. Because I love to.
Don't make your husbands like.
Yes, I love to, because unless the spouse helps, the family, when both wife and husband are working, when you have a couple working couple, it's very difficult.
Yes.
So I used to wash utensils, I used to wash washrooms and everything keep ready by the time she comes. And evening, happily, we used to go to tennis. So for 1 year, her work went on very well. And then at the end of the time when we have to come back, Professor Bruce made one suggestion for us. Mary, you can extend your leave. I'll give you $3,000. Why don't you stay put in US for another 1 year? Then we both decided, no, let's not cheat our university. They gave us on-duty leave. They paid her salary also for 1 year, apart from her fellowship. Let's not cheat university. So no, we said, Professor Bruce, thanks for your offer. If at all we get an opportunity, definitely we will come again, but not this time. Let us go. So he too could understand our situation. So this is his lab. He maintains roughly 13 to 15 scholars of his own from his own money. He pays them. The one who is sitting with the white shirt is Professor Bruce. So it doesn't mean that we were selected is the best, but the process and everything, you can ask anyone. Wherever I went to, wherever our group went in US, if we say that we are Fulbright scholars, there was a kind of respect which used to get from them. My God, you are Fulbright scholars. From which place? Nigeria, from Nepal, from India, from Romania. Oh, that's good, that's good. So thereby, get an opportunity, use it. Don't worry about other things. If you don't have the opportunity, no need. I'm telling you, no. If you don't have that opportunity, no need to. But if you have an opportunity, $3,000+ up and down airfare, medical expenses, grant for your books purchase and everything. The only thing is you have to work, produce some results, because already you will be doing your PhD. For the postdoc, you can go, or if you are an employee, go for 3 months or 6 months term, taking permission from your college or university. Once this course is done with, after these 2 weeks or 3 weeks, from December, January, just plan slowly what you want to do. Then put it into practice. No need to rush up, friends. No need to rush up, because she was there in 2007-8. We took nearly 6 to 8 years gap to apply for this Fulbright program. In the same way, anyone who is interested, definitely or surely they can. This is the campus of UC Davis, where we stayed. So,
Thank you so much, sir. It's really wonderful.
no,
Really wonderful.
no, thanks a lot, Brahmananda Garu. I must thank you and all
You
your
should also, he's my colleague,
participants.
Ngodiman. We both are organizing. He's economist.
Okay. His name is Hana Godimat, no?
Ngodiman. His name is Ngodiman.
Hangodimat. Okay. H-A-N Hangodi. You have put another A also in your circular flyer. That's why I got it out.
He's an economist, sir. I'm a political science.
Okay, you are from political science. It's a combination of interdisciplinary.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
It's a really wonderful, sir. It's
Nothing
really, though we are really thank you so much. Hopefully, I think there are prospective economists are there. Maybe you would be a really key person to inspire and make an attempt in this, because Fulbright, as you said, they can look for, once they complete their PhD, they can look for postdoctoral.
Yes, that's correct.
That is a very good, and I'm sure the Karnataka University is very sound in economics, because the Professor Brahmananda, V.R. Panchamukhi, P.R. Panchamukhi, all these oldies are from the Dharwad only. So because of that only, the Karnataka University was started, and it has a name fame also. I'm sure I'll share your email ID to all my trainees.
Sure.
Wherever, whenever, if they want your advice, I earnestly submit to you to help them. Thank you so much, sir.
See, right from 2008, I have been helping whenever I give a talk, whenever there is any kind of query from the participant side to me, anytime. So that's not a big thing, because it's my responsibility also to help people. And I'll be very happy if 1 or 2 in every batch get selected.
Please give a big hand to the Professor.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and have a blessed day to all
Yes.
the young participants.
Yeah.
Please, only one thing from my side. Social sciences are losing their relevance. Let us do our bit. Let us do our bit to keep up that social science status. The time has come, friends. I am very sorry to say that seeing the things which are happening in my state, I feel very bad and miserable also. Why successive governments are looking down at social sciences. So let us do something from our bit, a bit of it from outside, so that they may not regain the lost glory, but at least they can maintain the glory which they have now. Thank you very much, and God bless. Hope to catch up with you sometime, somewhere.
Yes, sir.
There's a very beautiful Hindi song, Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna. I always remember that. So, who knows? In so many, this is my 115th lecture, 115. Wherever I go, sometimes they will say that you have given one lecture there, sir, in Aurangabad or Bilaspur. There we were one of the participants. Or I can invite some one of you
Please.
in future also. Okay, thank you very much. Please give your feedback. Please, this is my email ID. You can give your feedback. I'll be very happy. And let me tell you, don't give only one side. If you want to share,
Sir, you share this PPT, sir.
yeah, I'll share that PPT also. By the
Because
time
you are having my email, sir, so that I can
Yeah.
share to the participants.
share this and share my CV also, Brahmananda Sub, to them.
Yes.
And this email is there. Just note
Yeah.
down. And
Yeah.
by the time you complete your program, just give your personal views. Nothing wrong in it. Let me tell you, friends, I take it sportively. I take it very sportively.
Thank you, sir.
But I want a honest
Yeah.
feedback. Thank you very much.
So we did not receive the attendance sheet for evening session. We did not receive the
Attendance sheet.
Evening session?
attendance sheets.
అక్కడే
No, it was circulated.
attendance sheet is-
Yes, you signed, no? Yes, signed. No, yes, signed it, I remember.